video, we're going to connect Airtable directly to Virtually so that we can sync our attendance and feedback survey data straight into Airtable once our events have been completed. So to start, let's head back over to Airtable, and we need to create these two new tables. First, we're going to create a table for attendance. This table needs to have specific fields for this automation to work. So in the attendance table, we'll need fields for attendee name, as a single line text field. All of these fields will actually be single line text fields. So we have attendee name, attendee email, we'll also have session date, attendee join time, attendee status, excused, guest, session name, and session tag. Oh, watch out for typos. These fields won't work if there's any typos in them, so be careful of that. So we have session name and session tag. Perfect, so we have all the fields that we need. We'll get rid of these default records that are created when we create new tables. And next, we're going to duplicate this table because most of the fields are the same, and we'll rename this to feedback survey. So for our feedback survey table, again, we'll need attendee name, attendee email, session date. We need session name, so let's just bring that over here, right next to it. We also need our session tag. And we're going to change attendee join time to a new field, which will be our session rating. And this will be the only field that is not a single line text field. This needs to be a number field. And our number will just be a simple integer. So now we have session rating, and we need session comment and submission date. Great, and we can delete this one last field for guest. Awesome, so we have all of our fields for our attendance table and our feedback survey table. Next, we'll head back over to Virtually, and we're going to go into settings, and we're going to scroll down into the integrations here, and we want to connect our Airtable to export our attendance data. So here we'll need our Airtable API key and our base ID. If we head back over to Airtable, these can be found by clicking the Help button here and clicking API Documentation. We can see here that now we have our base ID, which we can copy and paste into Virtually, and our API key. If we click into Authentication, here's where you can copy in your API key. Great, so I've copied in my API key and base ID from Airtable. Now we just need those table names. So our first one is attendance, and the second table name is feedback survey. And we'll connect to Airtable. So even though we haven't actually hosted an event yet, the Virtually team has made it possible to test our Airtable connections with a little bit of test data sent to each table. So let's go ahead and test it out. Let's test our attendance connection. And let's test our survey connection. Awesome. Let's head back over to Airtable and see what came through. Great. So we can close this. And it looks like we have our feedback survey test data. So we have the attendee's name, their email, the session date, the session name, a rating, which is the number, the comments from that attendee, and the submission date of their survey. And if we head into our attendance table as well, we again have our attendee name, email, the day they attended their session, the join time, were they late or on time, were they excused or not, if they were a guest, the session name, and if we had a session tag associated with our attendees, that will show up here as well. Awesome. Everything looks good. Congrats on creating your first cohort-based events in Virtually and supercharging them with a few time-saving automations. We can't wait to see what you build next.